As promised, Dan Dakich joins us, ESPN college basketball analyst, host of the Dan Dakich Show, ESPN Radio Indianapolis, and he joins us here on Big Board Sports in Albany, 104.5, the team, ESPN Radio. Good morning, Dan.
Hey, how are you guys?
We're great, Dan. So, listen, I got to ask you this question first. You go on Mike and Mike the other morning, and the only thing they do is give you the business about your haircut.
Yeah, you know what? Look, I got bad hair. I know I got bad hair. I'm comfortable. I know I should shave my head. But the women in my life, you know, look, let me put you this way. If I didn't make you, if you didn't birth me, or I'm not currently sleeping with you, I don't care about anybody's opinion except for those people. My wife, my mom, my wife, and my daughter. That's it. That's it. So
that's a great answer.
It's bad hair, but it's mine, and they tell me not to shave it. So guess what? I ain't shaving it. So there you go.
Part of something in there is a bumper sticker. We'd have to, you know.
Right. Oh yeah,
it's crazy. Hey Dan, let's start with what was the headliner in New York yesterday, and that was James Dolan finally saying enough is enough. And out the door goes Phil Jackson. What did you make of Jackson's tenure and the mess that the Knicks have been in here the last couple of years?
Well, I mean, garbage. And you know what? I got to tell you, I know this isn't probably what people say or think, but I can't believe that. Let me put you this way. I'm incredibly disappointed in Phil Jackson. Like, you know, if you're going to take a job and you're going to take somebody's money, by all accounts, like, you owe an effort, right? I mean, you owe, like, hey, you know, let's go here. Let's make this great. And, you know, people that I know are like, yeah, the guy was so stubborn in the ways of the 80s that he wasn't, you know, going to embrace the new NBA. And to me, I blame two people. I blame Jackson because what the hell? Are you good or aren't you? And then I blame Dolan and his people for not knowing that. I mean, look, let me put you this way. If I'm going to hire you to do a job that's going to pay you an exorbitant amount of money, like a crazy amount of scratch, I'm hiring a private investigator on you. I'm finding out everything I can. Do you want to work? Are you interested in this job? Or is this just a payday and a way to put yourself in the spotlight and get back involved? Because sports is an amazing thing, man. Like, sports, people just like to be involved in it. And if I'm paying some dude that much money, I want to know. And I'm just, as a basketball guy, kind of disgusted with Phil Jackson. Like, you know, are you a fraud if you don't have – I'm using the word fraud a lot lately. Let me go another word. Are you full of crap if you don't have Kobe or Shaq or Michael or Scotty? I mean, are you not capable or are you just lazy? It's got to be one of the two. So good for New York. They got rid of him, but bad for New York to be in the situation.
And Chris Honorado, my colleague here, Dan, did you have in our story yesterday on News Channel 13, you have Darren Rovell doing some math saying that Jackson made, what, $50,000 a day? A day.
Hey, I saw that on Twitter, and I'm like, man, all right. What, did you earn $50,000 a day? Like, and the reason, obviously nobody, you know, is going to earn that, but did you make the franchise because of what you did more valuable? Did you live up to the contract by doing your best? Hey, people are going to screw up, all right. But did you do everything you could? Or were you lazy? Or were you uncommitted to learning? I mean, to me, I don't know. The whole concept in my world anymore of, Coach Almighty drives me nuts. I get tired of listening to him. I get tired of talking about him. And you know what? If you're not going to embrace what's going on now in your particular job, then adios. Good riddance.
Dan, as someone who does a show in Indianapolis, you've got your pulse on the Pacers, certainly, and Paul George. So for our Boston fan listeners, what would Paul George do to the Celtics in terms of making them maybe more of a title contender? Or does he put Cleveland over the top? Give us your read on Paul George as a player.
Yeah, I think he would be great for both. I mean, let's talk basketball first. Paul George is a really good two-way player. Probably more highly rated by people that don't see him every day. Indianapolis got tired of the sulking, the complaining after every game. Never, people saw it in the playoffs where he called out teammates, but every game they lost is like, well, we just didn't play hard. We got to get guys on this team that will play hard. And I'm thinking to myself, I watch these games. You're not hustling. You're not running. He can score. And I thought he was on his way 2 years ago, coming back from the leg injury, to be, top 5 player. I think in the last 2 years, he's got an incredible self-importance about him. It's almost like he has figured out that I can talk my way through being a leader. He's never made a game winner. And he comes out and tells tells the media, hey, CJ and I had to talk about that. Like CJ Miles took the game-winning shot in Game 1 against the Cavaliers. Well, I guarantee you one of two things. Number one, it never happened. Or number two, CJ Miles just laughed at him, because it's not like Paul George has this cachet in the locker room where everybody's hanging on his every word. Having said that, if you're going to compete, if you're Boston, you're going to try to beat Cavaliers, better have a good two-way player. He's a good two-way player. If you're the Cavaliers and you're going to try to beat Golden State, then you better have a damn good two-way player to guard some of these guys and score on the other end. I think he'd be a great addition, but his heart is on L.A. I see him possibly going to the Cavaliers with LeBron for a year and then headed out to L.A. with LeBron. That would be my best guess.
We're talking with Dan Dakich, ESPN college basketball analyst, host of the Dan Dakich Show on ESPN Radio, Indianapolis. Where do you think Carmelo Anthony will end up? And all of a sudden, there is some dialogue between Dolan and Melo about a buyout. I don't know if it's $54 million, but some figure that they may be able to negotiate that Melo would be out and end up maybe in Cleveland or maybe in Houston. How about your thoughts on that?
I did one of their games, and I did it with Jeff Van Gundy. And about halfway through the game, I said to Jeff, man, I kind of like Carmelo. Like, he goes in that short post, fights like hell. I don't always like on a day-to-day basis, but he doesn't guard. But you know what? I'm not sure he's the guy that could, for example, take Cleveland over the top, because I don't know that he's going to help a ton defensively. But I will say this. They're going to be a better second unit if they have Carmelo Anthony. They're not going to go through those long, ridiculous, when LeBron's on the court, they outscored a team by 12. When LeBron's not on the court, they get outscored by 25 kind of things, I don't think. So I know a lot of people are kind of poo-pooing the idea. I'm not convinced that that's a necessarily bad thing for Cleveland if they can't get, Porzingis or Paul George or LaMarcus Aldridge or, whoever else. I don't think that's a terrible deal for them, particularly for the second unit.
Hey, Dan, the comments John Calipari made about the one and done, you're obviously as much of a college basketball guy as anybody out there. What are your thoughts on, players being able to just jump to the NBA from high school, or, adopting what Major League Baseball has instituted, and if you go to college, you have to save for at least 3?
I like that rule. I like that second rule. I do. Hey, look, I don't know why everybody feels like you got to legislate bad decisions out of people. Like, truth of the matter is, before they had the one and done, you can go to college or you can go to the NBA out of high school. And I remember a kid named Leon Smith was supposed to be a great draft pick and blah, 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 blah. He ended up not getting picked. It became a big story. And then the rule changed. Well, you know what? We live in America. You make your own choices. You live with your own choices. You suffer your own consequences. I don't like legislating people's, he got bad advice, so we got to change the rule. Hey, if you want to go to the NBA out of college, go to the NBA, or out of high school, go to the NBA. But I like the baseball rule. I think the baseball rule helps everybody. I think you get to build a bit of a brand for yourself in college, which helps the NBA. I think it matures the college basketball game. I don't think it's a detriment to the NBA in any way, shape, and form. I think it's a help. So I think that is a great rule. Now, I've had Len Elmore tell me that socioeconomically players going into baseball are so much different than basketball. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to know all that. And hell, it's summertime. I want to drink some rum and be on a boat, for Christ's sake. But Having said that, I like that rule. I do. I like it a lot.
Hey, one more from us, Dan, because we had a little fun with this earlier in the show, and that is the Cubs cutting Miguel Montero for, as Theo Epstein said, being a bad teammate, but for me, being pretty darn honest about Jake Arrieta. The Nationals, for our listeners who didn't know, stole 7 bases against Montero on Tuesday night, and then Montero was critical of the starting pitcher after the game. What was your take on that?
I am America's biggest Cub fan, all right? Like, since 1969 when I went to my first game, running off the bus to see WGN what inning the Cubs were when I got home from school. And I love the move, and I'll tell you why. My entire lifetime, the Cubs never played in a World Series until last year. So I'm being literal here. Jeb Hoyer and Theo Epstein can walk on water for me. Whatever they decide to do, I bow down, I genuflect. I stand at the altar of Theo and Jeb. Montero said some stupid stuff about playing time after they won the World Series. I imagine that didn't set well. So now he does this. Look, in Joe Madden I trust, even though that got dicey. In Theo I trust. In Jeb I trust. Cut his ass. And don't ever let him back into the ballpark.
Hey, Dan, I see that you tweet out the race of the day every day, and I don't know if the ponies are something new for you or not, but from Rodger and me, if you ever make it to the Capital Region, you and Coach Ross, you will be our guest at Saratoga. It's the best race course in America. We will hook you up.
Hey, let me ask you, no, the ponies are not new to me. I grew up going to some dumps, Hawthorne, Belmont Park in Chicago. But let me ask you seriously, when's their meet? When do they run?
The opening day, Dan, is July the 21st. It's a Friday, and it runs through Labor Day. And
let me tell you guys something. Let me just tell you. You're going to get taken up on that because we're dying to get back. The lovely Lee Ross, Dakich, and I are dying to get back to that part of the world, and I'm dying to go to Saratoga. Tirico told me that Saratoga is the most awesome place to be. Now the Kentucky Derby, the craziest, biggest party, all that, happy horse bleep. But Saratoga, the Belmont, unbelievable. I got your guys' numbers, boys. Be careful what you ask.
Hey, listen, we'll hook you up. I've been covering the track for 31 years, so we'll make sure you get a nice table, a nice spot, and enjoy a great day. All right?
Hey, it never gets old, does it?
No, my God, no. No, Dan, I swear to you, when I came here 31 years ago, and I had no idea what I was doing. Somebody told me to play 2 horses. One is a favorite, one's kind of a long shot, and do a $2 exacta box. The darn thing comes back $340. I'm like, are you kidding me?
And Danny's been in the red ever since.
Yeah, I've been in the red ever since. But I've also become I think I'm a compulsive gambler on horses now for 31 years, thanks to Saratoga. But no, honestly, if you do have time, bring your group up here, get in touch with me or Chris, and we will set you up for a day that you'll have a great time in Saratoga.
I'm telling you, I'm involved in a syndicate to buy a horse. I'm really into this. That's going to happen. I swear to God, that's going to happen before Labor Day. I appreciate that very much.
Yeah, and we have a trainer.
Hell yes! It's already a great day. All right.
Thank you, Dan. We'll talk to you, man.
Anytime, guys.
You got
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Bye-bye.